Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my author's answer video for December 2019. The author's answer series was started by author-tuber J.D. Archer and his writing group, where they answer reading and writing related questions. J.D. has a whole playlist, and I've been doing this for several months now, a couple years in fact, and I will link our playlists down below. I try to do one of these per month sequentially, and I am up to question number 33, which is to describe your writing process. Seems like an appropriate one for right after NaNoWriMo. And speaking of NaNoWriMo, I've just gotten back from a write-in with the DC Rymos, even though it's no longer Nano anymore. But one of the events the municipal liaison put on Wednesdays was to invite people to meet with her writing group, basically, that they meet in Panera and DuPont and just write for a few hours. And I just decided if they're going to keep going, then why shouldn't I keep going? So maybe this will be part of my writing routine. I feel like I should hop and skip past the hodgepodge, which has been my routine for writing short stories or nano projects that turned into short stories, or even my novella. And I'll focus for what I hope will be my routine for the fantasy project I started this year for Nano, A Song of the Wanderers. Technically, I started with a lot of rudimentary thinking for several months and piecing an idea together in my head of plot and of theme and sort of first pass world building. And I do think that maybe for fantasy I should keep some world building as my very preliminary first step, especially using the website World Anvil as a template. I heard about World Anvil just a couple of months ago on Jenna Moressi's channel, and I've been tinkering just a tiny bit with it ever since, but I think it could be really useful in getting some serious world building out there. It's kind of like a Wikipedia template for world builders, but it's much more sophisticated than that, and they have page builders for all sorts of world building aspects, from characters to religious and historic events that you can put into a timeline, and you can even upload maps and link them. It's really cool. I'm not doing it much justice here, so I'll link to the website down below. Anywho, in terms of solidifying a concrete writing goal, I started, I guess, with Preptober, and for the first time I'm really doing some trial and error with outlining and what type of outlining will work for me. I actually started with the snowflake outline, which is a multi-step process that's supposed to go from something relatively general to something specific. Like you start with a one-line summary and then you make everything more and more specific from there, both in character development and plot development. I ended up making it through about half of those steps, and then I switched over to the Save the Cat 15 beat system, which I think I used to solidify one of my answers for the snowflake outline anyway. So I have a bare bones structure for the plot about the major beats I want to make along the way. Then in going more specific, like plotting out scene by scene, more or less, sort of a general idea of each scene, I decided just to go act by act. Like actually for Nano, I only plotted out the generalized scenes for Act 1. And then I wrote them out, you know, as you do for a first draft, kind of discovering the more nitty-gritty details as I went. And that's why I decided it just didn't seem like it would work for me to get more detailed with the rest of the story, and to let Act 1 sort of be a bit of a guide into Act 2 and what have you. And so my plan now is to finish writing Act 1, because I'm still not completely finished with that. And then hopefully for Feb Frenzy, which is sort of a mini nano that I attempted last year with my personal writing group, my critique group, I'm hoping for Feb Frenzy to tackle Act 2A. Act 2 is a large one. Just ask the Save the Cat people. So yeah, that's how I intend to tackle my first draft of this project. Sort of piecemeal now of I have the bare bones outline and then get a little more specific and parcels with generalized scenes and then fill in those scenes piece by piece. And then ultimately I'll have a full first draft. Somewhat concurrently, I will probably be sharing my chapters with my critique group because I've already started doing that. I've shared chapter 1 with them, and they offered some feedback that I also want to go ahead and just go ahead and change in chapter 1. And then when I share chapter 2 with them, I think I'll go ahead and do the same. We tend to meet every other week or every 3 weeks, and of course I'm not the only person submitting things, so I'm not sure how long this process will take, but right now I'm writing chapter 10, so I think it would take a fair amount of time to catch up to that. Anywho, after I and my writing group have read and critiqued everything for a first pass, which seems like it'll be a ways into the future, my next step on the process is I'll probably read through the whole thing myself and make my own set of edits, and from there I assume I will look into getting new beta readers who might be amenable to reading the entire manuscript. I think I'll use a set of tailored questions this time along to have a more streamlined experience with beta readers than I did for my novella, but that's pretty far down the line. First I have to have a draft and everything. And after I've heard from beta readers, I will revisit my manuscript in revision form, and I guess I will continue to do that until I feel confident myself that it is in enough of tip-top shape to, well, at the moment I think I'll start querying. I mean, you know, way down the line. But that's my ultimate goal, to seek publication, and at the moment I'm considering traditional publishing. Meanwhile, as I do all of this, I know it'll take a while and I'm kind of doing it piecemeal. I assume I will be peppering in other writing projects as well. For example, at the moment I am still finishing up my literary novella. But querying for publication is a lot sooner in the process for that one for me right now. So yeah, I hope that was helpful for you, helpful for me going forward with my writing projects. I'll link to information about the Snowflake method and the Save the Cat 15 part beat sheet down below. And I'll be back tomorrow for my regular Friday Reads video, getting back into the bookish content. So thanks so much for watching, everyone. Keep writing, and I'll see you next time.